Yeah.
We got sparkling cider too.
Say what?
Sparkling cider.
Oh, okay. So who's the one that's leaving early? Oh,
I gotta go to work.
I hear you.
I gotta go to work. What you got on now? Hi everybody. Peace.
You're a vegetarian?
Oh no, chicken and turkey.
Oh, you everything. Okay. Who got the baby?
Mommy. Hey.
Where's the baby?
Right here.
Oh.
Happened.
What up, doctor?
What it is, what it is, what it do, what it do.
How long you standing out there?
Oh no, you saw me when I was in the back, right?
Yeah, I seen you.
Oh, I didn't. I guess when I was in the back of the car with the baby.
Well, you rode in the, which car did you ride in?
In a Lexus, and
Oh,
my
okay.
children drove in a Pathfinder.
Oh, okay. Why don't you start off by introducing yourself and telling the world who you are.
Well, I'm Icelene Jones. I was ODB's wife. I was with him ever since I was 16. We met in 1985. It is now 2007. We had 3 children together. They're now 16, 17, and 18 years of age. I have one that's Shaquita. She's the youngest. And I have a son named Barson. And then a daughter, the oldest, is Taniqua.
Very, very good. Let's go back to the early days. Tell us, tell us about you at 16. How did you guys meet?
We met at a Sweet 16 party.
Okay, I meant to tell you.
We
Or Rusty, because I know most people call him Rusty.
Not me. I call him Unique.
Okay, there you go. So then explain to us about that now, man.
Okay, well, explain to you how I met Unique. Well, I met him at a Sweet 16 party. We were both of us were 16 years old. I just turned 16 in April, and he came to my birthday party, but I wouldn't let him in. And 2 weeks later, my friend had a Sweet 16 party, and that's where we met. He came inside, and it was him and a few other guys from Building 1. I lived in Building 4.
Where is this?
In Lennon Plaza in New York, in East New York, in Brooklyn.
Okay, great.
So we lived on a mountain, and around us was projects. So it was pink houses and cypress. We lived in like high risers, and everybody thought those were like really nice buildings to live in at the time. And well, me and him, he pursued me, and he wouldn't leave me alone. He kept coming up trying to dance with me, and I was hiding from him. I'm like, I don't want to dance with him. I don't know him. And I had 2 cousins there with me, my cousin Monique and my cousin Kim. And I was hiding behind them, and he came up looking for me. Yo, where's that girl? Where's that girl? Y'all know who I'm looking for. And they both opened up and pushed me to him. And then from there, he just grabbed me, and we started dancing. But at first, I was just sitting there looking at him. And then he was showing me off, but I was a real dancer. So then he started dancing. He was going all down. He had a dance called the Ace On. And he was all down on the ground dancing and stuff. And so then that's when everybody used to call me Tracy back then. And it was like, go Tracy, go Tracy. So I just started going off on him and stuff. They was like, go Ace On, and saying that to him. And that's how it started. And
What was your first impression of him?
Well, my first impression on him was that he started teaching me different things than anybody else, than my parents. That's what caught my eye. He started teaching me about the stars, the moons, the planets, letting me know that I was the earth, and that one day we'll have seeds. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Where are you getting all of this mess from? So then he started giving me lessons, and he gave me a name. He gave me a name by the name of Shaquita. He named me Shaquita be Earth in the name of Allah. And it just was a totally different world for me. He taught me how not to eat pork and how not to eat beef and how not to wear fingernail polish. And I wasn't supposed to wear braids in my hair, and I was supposed to wear long dresses. So I was on it like that for years, like 11 years straight. No pork, no braids in my hair, couldn't get no nail polish. It was crazy. And let me see, my first child was born when I was 19 years old. 1988. We had our first child. And from that point on, I mean, we've been together for years. We was together ever since we met. We just been together.
I'm going to backtrack you a little bit.
Yeah, so I skipped all the way to...
Let's talk between, after the dance.
Yeah, after the dance. Then our first kiss was that same night. We went out into the hallway. It was time to leave. My cousin said, come on, we got to go, because I had a curfew. And she was spending the night at my house. So she was like, come on, Tracy, we got to go. And I'm like, I don't want to go because I'm having fun. I'm dancing with Unique. And he told me his name was Unique, and I couldn't remember his name for nothing. That whole night, I'm like, what was that guy's name again? So anyway, we're in the hallway, and we're leaving out of the party. It was an apartment party. And I'm leaving. He was like, wait a minute, aren't you going to give me a kiss? I'm like, I don't know you. And so he kissed me on my cheek. And I'm like, oh, that was different. And that was nice. So then all night long, I'm sitting up, me and my cousin are talking. I'm like daydreaming, like, oh, I met this guy, and I can't remember his name. Then the next day, I went outside to play, and we used to go out front, right in front of the buildings, and play punch ball. We were playing punch ball and kickball, and these guys came walking over with Kangos and Pumas and Lee jeans on, and he was one of them walking with a radio. He came walking over to our building from Building 1. And he came up to me. I was like, oh, there go that guy. Oh, my gosh. And he came up to me and he asked me, did you get my number? Did you get the information? He left a number for me. I skipped more stuff already. He left a number on a card. On, like, cards that you played with. Spades and diamonds, stuff like that. So he left his number on the card. And I'm like, oh, that's that guy. He came over here looking for me. I can't believe it. So then I said, yeah, I got the number. He said, why you didn't use it? I said, I didn't get a chance to use it. I just got it. And so he asked me, can I take a walk with him? And then I took a walk with him. And that whole day we were together all day. And we was behind my building. And he would put his jacket around me. He put two bracelets on my arm. It was so cute and romantic. And when it would rain, he would lay his jacket on the ground. And I would actually step on his jacket to walk across the rain. I'm like, he is crazy. But he was so different than any other young boy that you would meet in the street. He was so intelligent, very intelligent, and knew his lessons well. Anything else?
You see, because I wanted to be conversational. There's so much stuff that I'm learning is really nice. When did you first notice the talent part of the whole?
Well, as soon as I met him, really. I mean, that's all he used to do is just battle. He used to battle in the streets, though. We used to have little parties, little house parties and stuff. He would be battling or just running up outside, just running up into different guys. And they just yo, there go that dude. Or some dude over there, Unique, come on. Or they'll just go run over to meet with him. Or they start, because he used to beatbox. He used to cover his mouth like this. And then he used to rap. He used to do oh gosh, I forgot that rap. I don't even know why I mentioned his name. But back in the days, he used to imitate somebody, and he had it better than the guy had it. I mean, it don't even make no sense to talk about it because I can't remember his name.
Probably only Biz or the
No, before, I think it was
pull your hair back a little, just.
Before, it was before them. Well, anyway. Can't you see someone hypnotize me? Was it that one? Well, anyway. No. Well, Dougie Fresh.
Slick Rick and Dougie Fresh.
Maybe, Slick Rick.
But Dougie Fresh was the beatboxer.
Yeah, I think it was Slick Rick. And then again, it was somebody else too. Okay, well, anyway, he used to just battle. That was his thing. And every time he battled, he used to beat everybody. It was just like, wow, he's really good. He's really good. And I knew he was good. And what else? I'm sort of lost. Just from my stuff. But.
Okay. When did the relationship, at what point, I mean, women would be the first to tell you, did it transition from being like, okay, looks like it's going to be serious?
Oh, gosh. It got serious at the beginning. It really did, because once he gave me my name, it's like that was the first thing of him really feeling like he was considered himself as being God. An original black man where we came from, in the streets of Brooklyn and stuff like that, he was God and I was the earth. And I was also the queen and he was the king. And he was the king of the castle. And by him getting the earth, a black woman that was truly his, it was like everything to him. Because from that point on, he could build his cipher. And a cipher is, when you have man, woman, and child. And then from that point on, he was able to be who he really was and walk around with pride and with his head up high. And he had to know his lessons or they would have beat his butt if he didn't know his lessons. And I had to know my lessons. So he would make me sit in the bathroom for hours, in the bathroom where Cherry and Boot lived at, with all the brothers and sisters in Linden Plaza that lived in Building 1 on the 12th floor. And I would sit in the bathroom and had to study my lessons, especially my name. I had to know my name before anything. You couldn't even get a lesson before you had to know your name first. And it was a long meaning. And I was like, how am I supposed to learn all of this?
What was your name?
Well, Shaquita be earth in the name of Allah. For I be the one who reflects the light of Allah unto the seats of Allah, thus bringing forth these positive reactions of the one and only. I be the reproducer for what Allah borns. Being black is being beautiful, for all things come from original peace. I sincerely love Allah. Mathematics is good for the mind and good for the body. That's where he sat and wrote. As soon as he met me, he was like, you're the one. And then from that point on, he knew we was going to get married and everything. He already knew it. And he said, we're never going to get a divorce. And that's how it was.
Interesting.
And I learned my name. And there was a building 5 where all the guards were standing. They were older brothers. And they were standing in front of building 5. And it was like, this was the first time where me and him had to actually walk by them. And I had to be correct with all my lessons, the way I was dressed, presented, me and him, everything. We had to walk by these people, and it was like, okay, are you ready? And I was like, I was so scared. And he was like, come on, you could do it. And he made sure I knew my lessons. I had to know today's mathematics. Today is the 16th. Okay, I had to know that it was knowledge, equality, or being born of God. 1 and 6.
I'm sorry, today the 17th.
Today the 17th. So knowledge, God, or being born to build or destroy. You had to add the 1 and the 7 makes build or destroy. And we had to know that. And so we walked past building 5 and they were like, peace God, peace earth. This your young earth, this your young earth. Because I was young, me and him was young then. He was like, yeah. That's like, yo, peace, yo, you got a young earth? That's what's up right there. So then it's like, okay, so first they built with him, so what's today's mathematics, God? And then he'd have to break down what it was. Then they'll build and ask him a lot of other things like what's 110, and they asked him a lot of different things, student enrollment, 12 Jews of Islam. You had to know all of this stuff. Or if you didn't know something, they would beat you down because you putting on the front. But if you knew what you was talking about, they'll sort of leave you alone. But they just don't want nobody walking around saying they God and they not really God. And he was really into that. It was our lives. That was everything. And it sort of pulled him away from his family, and it sort of pulled me away from my family. Because I'm like, no, I'm not Tracy no more. Nobody couldn't call me Tracy. Nobody couldn't call me Icelene. It was just Shaquita. Shaquita be earth in the name of Allah. That was my name. My name is Shaquita. If you don't call me Shaquita, don't call me nothing. And my family hated him for that. Because he came into the household and just took me out of the household and changed my name, changed the way I ate, changed everything. But in my household was no real set rules. So it was easy for him to come and do that.
Explain a little bit more about the household.
Well, my household or his household? My household. Well, I only have 2 brothers. I'm the only girl in the middle. One older, one younger. One named Anthony, the older, and one named Johnny, is the younger. And I have my mother, father, Earl, and Big Shot. Yeah. My father is Big Shot and Earl, and my mother is Elnora JoJo. So they had little different names, and their last name is Barnes. And then we lived in Plaza, and we had a 3-bedroom apartment, 2-bathroom, and that's where I met him. And he used to come to my house. My mom and dad, they couldn't stand him.
What kind of work did your parents do?
My father was a sanitation worker, and my mom, she was going to school with Wilford Academy at the time. Yeah, she was going to school. Yeah,
I think my mom went to that school too.
Yeah, matter of fact, my father went there also because he didn't want my mom to go to Wilford Academy. She couldn't go to the store by herself. So anything that she wanted to do, he was like, I'm going to do it too. So he would come home from work, from sanitation, and then they would go on to Wilford Academy and come home late at night, and I had to take care of my brother practically all day. I took him to school. I got him from school. I took care of him all night until they came home, and then it was like start all over again the next morning. So he was stuck with me. So he was with me and Unique most of the day. Most of the time he was with us.
That's
and
great.
I would take my brother to Cherry and Boots' house. And anybody who was there would watch him. Ramsey, Marky, Dee Dee, Nikki, Lamarne, Aisha, whoever was in the house, these were his brothers and sisters. They would just watch my brother.
Talk about his household.
Well, his household was pretty crowded. It was a lot of them, but I was like one of them because I was there like every day. Every day I was there. Every time Cherry turned around, your ass is here. What you doing here? All the time when she turned around, I was right there in the house. She was like, oh my gosh, you act like you live here. You don't know how to go home sometime. And then I would like get my feelings hurt or whatever, but I would just still be there. I didn't go nowhere because we was in love. And my mother and father used to always come. My mother, she was the main one. She would come and drag me by my hair out of the house or by my collar and like, you going home, come on, and embarrass me in front of everybody and stuff. And anything else?
Okay. So we talking about, this is Brooklyn in the 80s, right? This is with the Decepticon days and all of that stuff too.
Yeah, all the karate flicks, the 3 o'clock movies, monster movies, and Star Wars and stuff like that.
What were some of the influences that you saw back then that became a part of the character that became ODB? I mean, you already spoke on the
Well, you know what?
Center.
He became more of who he was when he passed away later on in the years. Like this is at the beginning. He was Unique A Son, Allah then. And then later on he became ODB. RZA gave him that name. And they all got names from karate flicks and stuff like that. He was the old dirty bastard. And he used to keep everything old school. He was like one of them that everything had to be old school. The old musics, the old ways. That's all he talked about. In the 5 Heartbeats, Eddie Kane, he was Eddie Kane. In the 5 Heartbeats, he just loved that part. And where was I? With the old dirty bastard. Okay, old. He used to keep that. Everything old school, dirty because he was a real dirty mother effer. And bastard, there's no father to his style. Not to say that he don't have a father. He has a father. It's just that there's no father to his style of rap. There's nobody that can do it. Nobody can, imitate him. Nobody's better than him. He just wanted to let that be known that that's what old dirty bastard meant. Anything else? I just get.
And I'm gonna lean this way and we'll just talk.
Okay. I'm still waiting for you to say something.
So, what was the first time you remember meeting the other guy? You mentioned RZA not too long ago.
Oh, I met RZA at the beginning when I met Unique. Yeah, 16 years old. RZA and Jizza. We used to be with Jizza more so because Jizza lived in Brooklyn and RZA lived in Staten Island. So Jizza and Unique used to be together all the time. I call him Justice. That was his righteous name. And RZA's righteous name was, Rakeem. I call him Rakeem. I don't call him RZA. Rakeem. But they was like always favorite cousins to the bottom. It was like best cousins. And all 3 of them used to be together a lot. And Unique used to they used to do little shows and little clubs and stuff like that. And me and his sisters, everybody tried to go, and it used to be like little hallways where everybody was bundled up just to get in there, and they used to have to get through all of that mess and perform on stage. And every time they performed, though, they was real good. And I remember when. Okay, don't go off too far.
Please do.
No, I was about to skip again. So, what we used to.
You said they used to be real good.
Yeah, Rakeem, Justice, and Unique. They was real good. But it was just coming out. It was hard to come out. First, I remember we lived in a shelter. But this is like after all of our children. And I'm like skipping so much here. I don't want to do that.
Okay, let's go back to the shows. We just said they were doing shows.
Yeah, they were doing a lot of shows. And Oh gosh, they would just get together all the time to do their stuff, and they couldn't get it off. Nobody would like really respect them because they were righteous. Like the older parents and stuff like that, they always had issues with this God stuff. Like Cherry used to fuss with Unique all the time, or you need God, you need to go to church, and Unique was like, I don't want to go to no church and stuff like that. Because living in the streets is hard, and if you don't have like the right direction or no direction, it's just you start focusing, and what they did, they found another way of life that wasn't so bad and it wasn't so good, but it wasn't doing drugs or killing themselves. They found another way of life, and it was called righteousness. And that's when they said, okay, we got to get some, get a woman and stick with a woman, and because the woman was like the backbone to the man and kept him strong and kept him away from things. And so when he did things, when he went places, I went with him a lot. A lot of guys don't like to take their girls places at a young age. We even had this one time where he had a friend, and oh gosh, they went. It was a couple, and they went to get a pregnancy test done, and we went with them. Me and Unique went with them. So let's go with them. So we went with them, and the girl, she took a pregnancy test, and I just said, let me take a pregnancy test too. And I took a pregnancy test, and she wasn't pregnant and I was. And I was like, something is wrong. This is not even right, because I was just there for the fun, being there to support her, not feeling or knowing or thinking I was pregnant. And Unique was like, what? We didn't pay it no attention at all. We just blew it off our minds, like if that test didn't even matter to us. Went back to, because we used to race and jump from the bricks and just hang outside, and it was like we were still young kids. And next thing you know, I had a miscarriage. That was my first pregnancy, and we always said it was a boy. We don't know what it was. And I was in the hospital, and Unique came to the hospital, and he was crying and everything. And I was like, what are you crying for? Because he was like, you lost my baby. And I didn't believe that you was pregnant. And that's how he was being so young and cared so much like that. And I was like, wow, this is really deep. I mean, I was crying too because I was in pain. That's why I was crying. But I didn't want to have no baby. I was young. I was 16 years old. Right, yeah, I was 16. But then I got pregnant again. Okay, we're going to back up some because we still have some time before I got pregnant again. We stayed in Plaza for a while. And what had happened is my parents moved from Plaza. We had issues with paying the rent. So we went to stay with my mother's sister on Crown Street in Crown Heights in Brooklyn. So we stayed there, and then that's when I got pregnant. And Unique would come and visit me, and I would go with them. And then they had issues too, where his mother and father had problems, where his mother had moved out. No, his father moved out, and the mother moved to Putnam Avenue, 112 Putnam Avenue, and that's where everybody moved to, right there. She took all her children, they went to Putnam Avenue. Except for Ramsey. Ramsey didn't go to Putnam Avenue, the oldest son. I think he went with the father. I can't remember where he went. Well, anyway, we were all in Putnam Avenue, and I was there too. Well, I was back and forth there. I didn't actually get there yet until now. I'm pregnant, and I'm at my aunt's house. And so Unique is back and forth. He used to always come to the window and go, sweet. He used to call me. That was his call to call me, and I would go to the window. I would just run to the window. Hey, hey. And so... okay, me and him went to Methodist Hospital in Park Slope. That's where I had all three of my children at. And we went through the emergency because I was really sick. And then we found out that I was pregnant. And we was hugging and happy. I mean, but I was 19 then. Right. I was 18 when I found out I was pregnant. And I had my first child when I was 19, April. A day after my birthday. My birthday is April the 22nd. I had my daughter April the 23rd. And so we were just so happy that I was pregnant. And then everybody was like, okay, what are you going to do? My parents and his parents, what are you guys going to do? We're going to keep the baby. What do you think we're going to do? And where you going to live? What you going to do? He was like, I'm going to take care of my own family. He just wanted to support his own family. He didn't want no help from nobody. But it was so hard because he was still young. But he worked at a gas station. He worked in a Marriott. And with a food, I don't know exactly what he was doing, but he used to bring home food for us to eat from the Marriott. And well, what he did was on Putnam Avenue, it was a bedroom. He asked his mother, could he have this bedroom? And Putnam Avenue was messed up. It was messed up real bad. rats, big rats. I mean, the doors was off the hedges. The bathroom door was like a big, heavy door. We had to put the door up, lean it up to use the bathroom. And I'm like, unbelievable. I don't believe I'm living like this. And they had old furniture in these bedrooms. And so we went inside the bedroom and took it for our own, the furniture and everything. So he asked his mom, because he had his bedroom. And she was like, well, you got to clean it up and fix it up. And, you know, if this is what you want to do, you can have it. My mother and father didn't know all of this stuff wasn't working. Now, at this time, I'm still pregnant, but we ended up moving out of my aunt's house. We moved on Vermont Street in Brooklyn off of Atlantic Avenue, between Atlantic and Jamaica Avenue in Brooklyn on Vermont Street. So I'm living over there and I'm pregnant. And then he comes to my house and we both have to let my mother and father know that we're we're gonna go move on Putnam Avenue. And they're like, you're not moving on no Putnam Avenue. I'm like, well, yes I am. Y'all don't even know what it looks like. They was like, no, you're not gonna move out of this house. So my mother and father, I was the only daughter. Well, then I didn't even really see, because the last time I said it, when I seen the Putnam Avenue house, I'm like, Unique, are you serious? We're gonna move over there? Because it was like, I don't want to live over there. It's disgusting over there. Well, I went, and what he did, the whole house was messed up from top to bottom. But that one bedroom, he fixed it up so nice. He mopped and put the door up, put the hedges up. You know, he hooked up a TV. He just, whatever he could do to make it convenient for us. Put up curtains, you know, just made it look as nice as he possibly could. What he wanted to do, because he wanted me to move there so bad. And this is before I actually had the baby. And so he fixed it up and everything. Then his mother came in and said, okay, this is nice. And I seen it and I'm like, all right. So now I was like getting my mother and father to, you know, say okay to this. But they said no, of course not. And so actually what happened, I ended up having a baby, and I ended up going back to my mother and father house. That same day I went home with the baby with my mother and father. They had got me all the stuff for the baby. And I had got a welfare check because I was on welfare. I was receiving public assistance. So I gave Unique some money to go buy the baby a dresser drawer and a sterilizer for the bottles, a big pot. And that's what I wanted him to get. Just those two things, the main things that I needed right then and there on the spot. He come back with a polo bag, and a gold tooth. He went and bought him a gold tooth, right? So I'm like, what the hell? What are you doing? He was like, well, I figured, you know, we could put the baby clothes in a polo bag. And, you know, I had to get a gold tooth. And I'm like, Unique, that's for the baby. He's like, but don't worry, I'm going to make money, you know, with his rapping and his hustling. And he was doing everything. He was doing it all. And so that day, I just came home from the hospital. He started packing the stuff up, all the stuff that my mother and father bought me. And I had a baby shower. And the stuff that other people bought, and he didn't buy shit. He didn't buy nothing, right? Nothing. Nothing came out his own pocket. So he put all the baby stuff in, and I'm scared to death. I'm like, my mother and father gonna go crazy. You know, I'm trying to leave out the house with this man and with this boy rather, and then we're going back to that broken down place. I mean, with rats and, you know, the doors are off the hedges and everything. I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I gonna do this? How am I gonna take my newborn baby over there like this? I wanted to be with him because I loved him. And it's like whatever he said goes. It's like I just totally didn't listen to my parents at all when it came to him. I was always scared though, but I just still, it's like I always let him just take over everything. He would just like make sure I was all right. He made sure I ate. He made sure I ate breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day. I had something to eat. So he packed up the bag, and then my mother and father, they see him packing the bag. My mother came. She seen him packing the bag. She's like, and she ran in the back, big shot. And so they both came in there. I was like, oh no, you know. So they both came in there running like, what are you doing? Where you going? He was like, we're leaving. We're going home. And they was fussing. He was like, you're not going no fucking where. You didn't buy anything. She's snatching the stuff, and he's snatching the stuff. He was putting it back in the bag. Mrs. Barnes, I don't mean to just be disrespectful, but this is my family. It's time for me to take care of my family. Let me be responsible for her and the baby. Let me take care of them. They're not your responsibility anymore. Thank you for helping us, but it's time for us to go. You know, he was like, this is my family, and I'm going to take them with me. So you're going to have to call the cops because, you know, I'm going home with my family. I have a home for them. And that's how he would talk. Even better than, you know, what I'm saying. He knew how to speak so well. And so my mother cried and she cried, but we left. I sat there and let my mother cry, and we left, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I let my mommy cry, you know, because she always did everything she could do for me. So I left out the house, and I'm going with him, and we got on the train, and we went to Putnam Avenue, and that's the first time I actually seen, like, I seen how he fixed it up, but he really fixed it up when I went back there. He's like, I ain't fixed it up for nothing now, because you and my baby gonna be here. We had to leave the bassinet. We had a bassinet for the baby. We didn't bring that. So we had to put the baby in the drawer. Taniqua, she slept in the drawer. That was her first bed in the drawer. So we opened up the drawer and we fixed it up and we put it right inside the drawer. And that was her bed. And 3 months later, I got pregnant again. Right there on Putnam Avenue, I got pregnant with our son. And so now it's like it's getting worse. So my mother and father, they were going crazy by us, you know, just staying in the house. They would come over there and fuss with me, and they couldn't take it no more. So they decided to do something about it. So they went and I don't know who they called, but they got the welfare involved. You know, like for the well-being of the child. They took me to court and everything to try to take me out of the household by taking a child, my daughter Taniqua, and they wanted Taniqua to stay in their household with them. And so I'm like, oh gosh, what are we gonna do? So we were going to court and everything. So they sent over somebody to make sure we were living all right, because we weren't doing anything wrong. We were taking care of our own child. We had public assistance. It's like, you know, let them be. They're 19 years old. You can't just take their child because you want them to live over here with you. We understand that you have a better place for, you know, your daughter to live. And so now when the man came inside the house, it was a man coming to see us. He was like, from the welfare, he was like, oh my gosh, this is, you know, really bad here, you know. Mrs. Jones, I was Miss Barnes then. I wasn't married yet. You sure, you know, you want to live here? You know, your mother and father have a nice bedroom. You have a canopy bedroom set, you know. You got a nice place over there. And I'm like, well, no, I want to be here. You know, I want to be right here. This is my home. This is where I want to be. What you need. So he came inside our bedroom, and he was like, now this is different. Okay. He was like, wow, y'all really got it going on up in here. We had one of the little stove things, the put pots on. We had that in our room. But even though the stove, they had a kitchen upstairs and they had a kitchen downstairs. And we just sort of tried to stay inside the room. But we did go downstairs sometime to cook and stuff like that. And, okay, now, oh gosh. So it came up to it. The ending result was that leave them alone. They're taking care of their child wonderfully. There's no issues. You know, the room is clean. The baby's clean. They're clean. There's nothing else we could do. You can't force her to come home. You can't take their baby away from them. You know, so my mother and father, that's what they figured. They could take the baby from me and then I would come home.
What did that do to the relationship between your mom and...
Well, they still hated him. They just didn't like him. They couldn't stand him for him changing my name. It was like they were so upset. We didn't raise you like this. You know, how could you just let this boy come and change your name? You know, I'm like, well, mommy, he gave me meaning. He taught me, you know, he showed me who I was. Y'all never even, y'all didn't have no upgrading for me. Y'all didn't show me nothing. We wasn't going to church. We was eating pork. You know, daddy smoking reefer. You know, everybody's just doing what they want to do. It was no type of foundation. Whereas, you know, if I would have had a foundation, maybe he wouldn't have been able to come and just, you know, and do that to me.
Hold on one second. Where do we leave off? Putnam Avenue, moving into Putnam Avenue. Now, I asked you about the relationship between the strain between your parents, and you said that.
Yeah.
Okay. Biggie, please. So now you guys are living in this house with all of the family members.
Yeah, it was. It
Let's
was
talk about
crazy.
life with your mother-in-law then.
Yeah. Well, Cherry, you know, we was real close. I was like a daughter that she never had before. You know, I was real nice. Well, I'm still the same way. I haven't changed. It's just gotten older and have children now. But then she used to just like really, really respect me because her son respected me to the fullest. And then she knew that I was the type of girl that I was like a good girl. You know, I didn't smoke, you know, no drugs. I didn't drink alcohol. and she know I loved her son. She know I loved him, and I listened to everything that he said. Nothing he said was wrong. I was just in love with him. Well, I remember when it was time for me to have Taniqua. I was in labor, and she was there, and I was scared to go to the bathroom because I had to go to the bathroom. I didn't know if I was going to have to push or if I had to do number 2. I didn't know nothing. It was my first baby. And she would tell me, no, go ahead. You can go to the bathroom. We won't put them out. And she's telling me to go to the bathroom. And I'm like, I don't think I should go, Cherry, because I feel like I got to do number 2. I mean, I feel like the baby is coming out. She said, no, it's all right. It's all right. You're not pushing right now. And so I went to the bathroom. I listened to her. And, what else? Oh gosh, now I'm like starting a little.
No, we're talking about the relationship. Then you said things were. You were the other daughter.
Yeah, I was like a daughter that she never had before. I was just different.
So enters stardom. Let's talk about the transition and redirecting. I mean, obviously you said you was working at other jobs and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. How? Like. Okay. I'm trying to get to that point. We like a few years later. Okay, from that point, when we lived on Putnam Avenue, I got pregnant again with Barson. And we left Putnam Avenue. We ended up moving to Florida. I went to my mother and father house on Vermont Street when Unique and his cousin Divine moved to Florida to start, a new life. Not Rakeem brother, RZA brother Divine, but they had another cousin named Divine, which is 12 o'clock right now. 12 o'clock, Odeon. His name is Divine. That was his righteous name, Divine. It was like everybody had names. Like 12 o'clock was his rhyming name, his rap name. Odeon was his name given by his mother, and Divine was his righteous name, being a god. So everybody had those 3 different things going on. The RZA, his rap name, Rakeem, his righteous name, and Robert Diggs, his government name. Everybody had the names going on like that. So Unique, of course, he was Russell Tyrone Jones from his mother and father. Then Unique Ason Allah, his righteous name. Then it was ODB, Old Dirty Bastard, was his rap name. So it was like you knew everybody from all these different names. It's like, oh my gosh, it's crazy. But it was natural. It's something that we just lived with, and it was easy to deal with. So then Divine and Unique moved to Florida to start off a new life. Me and Lisa was Divine's girlfriend. Me and her were cool. We're still cool as of today. They broke it up. So, anyway, they're in Florida getting it all set up for us, and I'm working in a movie theater on 42nd Street and living on Vermont Street, saving up all my money, and then I had enough money, and he had money saved up too. He used to work at, I think it was Kentucky Fried Chicken and Burger King and Hardee's. He worked at a few different places in Florida, and then I moved out there with his. He had a Aunt Hilda, which is Freedom Mother. She lived out there, and Debbie. And Hilda had another daughter named Debbie that lived out in Florida. So we moved with Debbie, and Hilda had a separate place. And so we were out there with them. They came with me, Taniqua, and Barson. I don't have Barson already, and so now I got Taniqua and Barson. So we're on our way on the bus to go out there to meet with Unique. And they came to get us from the bus station, but they took too long to get to the bus station. And when I got there, they weren't there, and I was waiting for a long time. And we had all this winter stuff, and it was hot out in Florida. And I just left New York, and it was freezing. And Unique mother and sister Dee Dee put me on the bus on 42nd Street to go to Florida. They helped me to the bus station with the children. And they was like, girl, I don't know how you gonna make it there with these 2 babies, because they were both little babies at the time. But we made it there. We did fine. I just did what I had to do to get there. So when we got there, they wasn't there, like I said. And then we went, I got in a cab. It was a guy at the bus station that worked there. And he helped me get into a cab. And the cab driver knew exactly where I had to go. I had the directions. They didn't have no phone at the house, and I didn't have no phone on me. So I was just like, oh, I hope these directions are right. And I'm in another state, and they're not here. So I got in the cab, and I went to the house, and nobody was there. 2 cousins was in the house. The door was open, and they had shoes on the porch. And I'm like, oh my gosh, are they crazy with, all these shoes out here? Nobody gonna steal the shoes, because in New York, you ain't putting your shoes out on the porch, so I ain't gonna steal your shoes. So I pushed the door open. I'm like, anybody here? Then I see Man and Gork. Man and Gork were Unique 2 younger cousins. And they were there laying on the couch sleep. I'm like, y'all got the door open and y'all in here asleep? Are y'all crazy? They was like, hey, Pete, Shaquita, what's up? What's up, Shaquita? And they was like, oh, Unique and Grandma and Debbie, they went to get you from the bus station. I was like, oh, okay, all right. So I was like, I guess I'm here. So I had them come out and help me get the stuff out of the cab and the children and everything. So then we went inside the house and I just sat on the living room, on the couch in the living room waiting for them to come. Then when they came, he was like, yeah, the guy told us that you got in the cab. You came here. He was so happy to see each other because we ain't seen each other not even that long. I say not even a month maybe. We couldn't even wait that long to see each other. Time went by so fast.
What year and what city in Florida?
Orlando. We moved to Orlando and it was 1989 because I had my son in 89, right? April 89. And it was winter time when I left New York. So it was probably like December when I left New York. Wait, let me see. Yeah, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, May, October. I say maybe 6 months, maybe October. It was cold out here though. Or maybe it was October, November. I don't know. But anyway, I had 2 children with me and we went to Florida and we stayed with Debbie for a while. She gave us one of her children's bedrooms. They gave up a bedroom for us. And so we had our own bedroom. We were so happy. And then we had enough money to go get our apartment. So we got an apartment. We got just a 1-bedroom apartment. And that's what things started on Putnam Avenue too. A lot of things started on Putnam Avenue. When I say what things started as where he started being abusive towards me. He started like hitting on me and because things wasn't going his way or something like that. He would come home and just be upset and take it all out on me. And then he was using drugs and stuff with his cousins. All his cousins, they would get drunk and high. And that was his mother's side of the family. His mother, all of them, they just got high. All of them, they got so high. And that's why his mother and father broke up, because she was high all the time. Cocaine. So, that was a big issue. They always argue. I used to always hear his mother and father argue all the time about, your family always getting high and drinking. Everything was like a party. His whole family was partying. That's all they cared about. Monday night, they'd be partying and then fighting at the same time. You get drunk and then they start fighting and stuff, fighting each other, almost killing each other. And I'm like, oh my gosh, these people are crazy. But then I started being around them. I mean, I would never act like them. I would just sit there and be like, oh my gosh, they are crazy. And at like times, like the cousins would sit next to me and say certain things like, Shaquita, you sure you don't want no OE? That's always had an OE, the big 40-ounce OE. Yo, you don't want no OE? I'm like, no, you don't want none of this reefer? I had the blunt and little joints and stuff. Well, mostly they had the blunts. They wasn't really smoking the joints. They had blunts. And I was like, nah, I don't want none of that. No, thank you. So now we in Florida. And we got our own place. And this man wouldn't let me go nowhere. I couldn't go nowhere. And one night it was a big party going on. It was a big show. And it was a new club opening. Even the 2 little cousins, me and Gork was going. I was like, shoot, I want to go too. And he said, you can't go. And I kept whining, like a little baby. I want to go. I want to go out to, I want to go with y'all. And the girl cousins was going. Everybody was going. So Aunt Hilda and Debbie, the cousin Debbie, they both says, this is Hilda's daughter, Freedom, Papa Wu's sister. And they're like, let her go. Why, we want her to go. So they went somewhere. And they said, well, we'll be right back. Leave the children here. She had 2 daughters, Tanella and Bootney. Oh, gosh. I forgot their names. I know their names. Well, anyway, they had 2 daughters. And they wanted me to let them, watch the children until they got back. So, and Unique was like, oh, hell no. Nobody watching my children. It was like, we're not paying you no attention. Just leave the children here. They'll be fine with Tanella and Bootney. And so, he left. And then, they left. And when they left, everybody was getting dressed. And he wouldn't let me go. Divine had another girlfriend at this time. He forgot about my friend Lisa. He was like, forget her. And she was crying and she was so hurt. He just forgot all about her. He ended up meeting another girl out there in Florida and stuff. So she was like, come on, you gonna go? And she was telling me how getting all dressed up and everything. And I couldn't dress how she was dressing. She had like little fittable things on and had makeup on her face and had her hair all curled up and stuff. And I was like, oh, all right, I can't, just like that. Anyway, if I wanted to go out, I couldn't get like that. So I was like, I have nothing to wear anyway. I ain't going nowhere. my hair is nappy, and and I gotta wear long skirts, and I can't wear no makeup and nothing like that. But I didn't mind. I was used to it. But being around a whole bunch of girls that's looking all cute and everything, and I know he was out there fooling around and and having a ball while I'm stuck in the house with the children all the time. So they're getting ready to leave, and I'm like crying. I'm like, I want to go with y'all. He turned around and smacked the shit out of me in front of everybody and said, stop fucking acting. You ain't going nowhere. Stay here with my fucking seeds. And I was like, oh, man. I was so embarrassed. I just ran inside the bedroom and slammed the door, and then they all left. And then, they had the music playing. You know how you get all wired up. Everybody was all happy, and then everything just went quiet. Like, dang, why you hit her for? Nobody ain't say nothing. They just left. So now I'm left there crying, and Bootney was there at the time. That's the youngest daughter, Debbie's youngest daughter. And she was like, don't cry. It'll be all right. And so Hilda came and Debbie came. They was like, what the hell happened? What? They was because they were going crazy. What? You going to that motherfucking club tonight. You're going to the fucking club. So then they came and they got me dressed. I was like, no, it's all right. They was like, you going. It ain't fucking fair. You're a young fucking girl. You out here. You going to the fucking club tonight. So I was like, oh my gosh. So they got me dressed and they hooked my hair. They put a hot curl in my hair and they tried to put makeup. I said, no makeup. No makeup. I won't wear no makeup. So they found a dress that fit me nice, and so we went out. It's us three now. I'm with these two ladies. We riding around looking for the club. We can't find a club. We done went to like 4 or 5 different clubs, and I'm like, oh gosh. So Debbie's like, it gotta be this club. Let's go. We riding all the way over here. Going. I was like, oh, we might as well just go back home. And so finally, they was asking people, and you know about the new club that's opening tonight? All the children, everybody going there. And somebody's like, yeah, such and such is over, such and such. But anyway, we ended up going there, and that's what we seen. Everybody, it was all excitement. It was packed outside. Cops, everybody was like, this is the club right here. Then we seen men and go up. It's like, yeah, Unique inside the club. And then we seen Tanella. Tanella came and grabbed me out of the car. She's like, Shaquita, come on. I got to take you somewhere. I got to show you some shit that's happening up in here tonight. I'm like, what? What's going on? It's like, no, come on. You about to kick a bitch ass tonight. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what happened now? So now she came and took me up to this girl. This girl got like 4 girls surrounding her. And she's sitting on the car, and her name is Nikki. And she got jerry curls. And she crying. And she crying, and so I walk up to her, and I know her. She used to come to my house and get my husband and take him like food shopping for us, or take him to the store, or if he had to go somewhere because she had a car and he knew her, So now I'm like, something going on between them. So she's sitting on the car crying because he inside with another girl. So now I'm with this man. We together. We have 2 children together. And by the way, I'm pregnant again now. Now I'm on my 3rd child. I'm pregnant. No. Yeah, I'm pregnant. So I'm pregnant with Shaquita now. And so now, okay, I go up to this girl and I'm like, what are you crying, Nikki? What's the problem? Why are you crying for? Tanella was just, ask her why she crying. She pushing me. Ask her why she crying. So then I go up there and I'm like, why are you crying? She pushed me. I'm like, wait. Like, I care why this girl crying. I don't care why she crying. And I'm like, Nikki, why are you crying? She's like, cause Shaquita, you gonna be upset. I'm like, what am I be upset about? What happened? She said, Unique inside with some girl, with another girl. And I'm like, her name Marcy. I think her name is Marcy. And I'm like, wait a minute. You're saying you're fucking sitting here crying because my man is inside with another girl and you're sitting out here crying? And you're telling me he inside with another girl? I can't. I just went, I swear I punched her right in her face. I took off my shirt on high heel shoes and she was, cause she used to come to my house, and knock on my door for my husband, my man. So he wasn't my husband then, but it's just, I still feel like he was my husband. I grabbed her by her jerry curls and I was swinging her and I let her go. I pulled the hair out. I mean, I gave her like 2 black eyes. She had scratches all over her face because it was a lot of anger. It wasn't just towards her. It was just towards how my husband would leave me in the house, how he would beat on me, how he would fool around all the time. I mean, with that same girl, he got caught inside that same apartment we lived in the bathroom with this girl. Yes. I got up in the middle of the night. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. Me and my children are knocked out. I'm like, where Unique at? And then I go in the living room and I see Divine, 12 o'clock, on the couch with another girl. Not the same girl he was dealing with, but with another girl. I'm like, okay, Divine is here. And he had the stupid look on his face. I already knew Unique was around here somewhere with somebody else. Because that girl used to always hang out with the other girl. I'm like, where's the other girl at? Where's Unique at? The bathroom door is locked. And like, ain't this a motherfucker? You know, he in the bathroom with this girl. So I'm knocking on the door. He's like, oh, you know, acting stupid. Who is it? So then I start to turn over. I'm like, open the fucking door, Unique. Open the door. You ain't with that bitch, right? And he was like, won't you? And I'm like banging on the door. I'm like, open the door. He would not open the door for nothing. He did not open that door. I mean, he stayed in there for a long time with this girl. And so I don't care. I went in the room with the children, and they finally came out the bathroom and stuff. And maybe a few days later, that same girl came knocking on my door, talking about she could have my man and her man. She showed me like a wedding engagement ring she had from her boyfriend. She's like, I can have my man and I can have your man. You know, she was like, I'm like, this fucking girl. And so now the other two girls, that's what her like, oh, shut up, Nikki. Shaquita, you want to go with us to the mall and bring the children? I'm like, you think I'm going to go somewhere with y'all? I'm out here. I don't know nobody. And with my children, y'all take me to the mall and leave me out there. I don't have no money to get back home. I don't think so. Get away from my fucking door. And I slam the door in their faces like these fucking bitches are crazy. So now this happened before I seen her at this club. Now this is after I'm seeing her at this club. So all this shit came out on her ass. I kicked her ass that night. So now the girl inside got wind to what's going on outside. Yo, she took off. She was like, yo, Unique wife is here kicking everybody's ass. You know, so she took off. And so now, after the club, they shut the whole club down. Big fight going on and everything. So now, me and the girl outside fussing, and I'm walking away, and Unique is outside. Now, he come outside. Me and him fussed a little bit. And he was like, what are you doing here? I was like, fuck that I'm doing here. What you doing here? You a fucking male hoe. That's what you fucking everybody and shit. What's going on? So now the girl that I just kicked her ass, she came up to Unique. She's like, I'm gonna kick that bitch ass. He was like, who you calling a bitch? You ain't calling my wife no fucking bitch. He was ready to fuck her up. She was like, I'll fuck her up. He was like, you had a fight with her? What? You better not have hurt my wife. I was like, hurt me. So I beat her ass. I was like, what? She ain't got nothing on me. So then, and then after that, we ended up going home. The next day, Divine's real girlfriend that was out there at the time, she came and she got me and the children, and I had to take the children to the doctor. And so she set it up that the girl that was inside the club would come to the doctor's office to meet with me because she wanted to apologize, to let me know that she had no idea that we were together like that. We had children, and she was so sorry, and she had meant no harm, and it didn't go nowhere. You know, she just wanted to let me know I would never, disrespect you like that, and I'm so sorry. I don't want to, get into any issues, because I know you just beating everybody up, and so I was like, she was just making little jokes and stuff. And I just told her, it's all right, you didn't know, but this girl has been knocking on my door, driving me crazy, and it just, y'all went off on her, because usually when he fooled around with girls, and they would come up to me, I wouldn't fight them or nothing like that, because I'm not fighting over no man, I'm not fighting over no man, but it's just, sometimes you get pushed, and you get pushed, and you get pushed, it's like you get tired of it. And that was that particular time in Florida. And what happened, how we ended up back to New York is, he was so drunk one night. He was so drunk. He came home telling me all types of stuff. I was with such tonight, some other girl, and I had a ball, and fuck you, and all this. He was mad drunk, just laying on the bed, saying all types of stuff. And his mother, his cousin, Sherry Ann, and a man that Sherry Ann was dealing with, I don't know if it was a husband or a boyfriend or whoever, and they had the children, they had a minivan and everything. So they asked me if you want to ride back with us, because I was crying and everything. I was miserable. I wasn't really happy. I didn't have no family out there. It was just his family. And I said, if y'all could take me back with y'all, I really would love it. You could take me back, because I didn't even have no money to get back or nothing. So they said, you can come with us. So me and my children, he was laid there, knocked out in the bed, and I left, pregnant and with the children. And I went back, and they took me to my mother and father's house in Queens. They had a two-bedroom apartment. It was small in Queens. And then it says, oh my gosh, you have 2 children and you're pregnant. And you're not even married. So what are you going to do? And maybe about a month later, Unique came back. We'd be on the phone every day. And he would say, what are you going to, why did you leave me for? Why did you leave me for? And I'm like, I don't want to be with you. I can't deal with you no more. And you won't marry me, and I don't want to be there. What kind of life is this? This is bullshit. I can't live like this. I'm going to find my own direction, my own way. So he's like, "Nah, I can't have that. I can't have that." So then he came back and he got me, and we went to his mother and father house. And matter of fact, we was back and forth. No, his father lived by himself on Georgia Avenue. We went to his father's house, and we would stay there some nights, and we would stay at my mother and father's house. My father says, "Yo, y'all got to do something, because this ain't even happening. This ain't working." And they had bunk beds in there for my little brother. And all of us one day was on the bunk bed, on the bottom bunk. And my father came in there saying, "What y'all going to do? I think y'all should go to a shelter." You know, me and him sitting here. I'm pregnant. Got 2 little babies. He said, "I think y'all should go to a shelter." And I was like, I used to work in shelters. You know, I was working for City Volunteer Corp, and I used to do Meals on Wheels to senior citizens and everything. And I used to work in the shelters and just help the people out in the shelters, just to help them, let them know what the next step is, or where they should go, or where they should go to get something to eat at, or whatever it was that this is sent me out there to do. And I was like, I don't want to go in a shelter, because they had like back then they had like everybody in the gym, you know, and people were stealing people's stuff, and there's a whole bunch of beds laid out, and I'm like, I can't live like that, Daddy. Them shelters are awful. And then there was another shelter where they had in hotels, and the hotels was awful. It was disgusting. It was like a whole bunch of rooms. It was one big room. It was a small room with a bathroom inside the room. But it was so nasty and disgusting, and the doors were broke. It was awful, and it was sometimes the lights were out. I'm like, I can't. That's how I remember shelters when I used to work in them. But now when we went to the shelter in Brooklyn, we went down there to enroll and get into a shelter. We was like, forget it. Let's just go. We gotta go. We gotta find somewhere to live. So let's go. So we carried what we can carry, and we went downtown Brooklyn. Willoughby, I think it was Willoughby Street. It was some place right there where you go, and we met Cherry Friend, somebody that was Cherry Friend. Somebody used to live in Plaza. They was working inside the shelter, and Unique seen him. He said, "Oh, that's such and such mother." I think it was Shakisha's mother. A girl named Shakisha used to live in the building, and she used to work in the shelter. And she hooked us up, that she got us in much sooner, much faster than just sitting there for days and days and days before they actually found somewhere for you to stay at. So that same night, they took us to a shelter, and they was going close to Plaza. It was like, oh no, they're going close to Plaza. Everybody gonna know we live in a shelter. It was like, oh my gosh. And so they went past Plaza, went to like a little back street or something, and it was a shelter right around Plaza, off of the Conduit. It was like, dang, they gonna take us there? But they didn't take us to that one. They stopped there to take other people there, but they didn't take us there. They took us to a new shelter for when you just had a newborn baby, and I had just had Shaquita. She was 2 weeks old, and that's when we decided, after she got her shots and everything, that we would go into a shelter. And they took us to this brand new one on Avenue D off of Linden Boulevard, and it was really nice. And first we was down inside this big room, and they had us inside there, and then we was there for like 3 days. And I'm like, oh gosh, are they gonna, we didn't know if they was gonna keep us there or not. It's like, oh, this would be perfect. We were close to his father, we're close to all our friends and family. And Unique, he was the one who was talking to all the people, he would like just deal with everything that was dealing with business, and I was just always on the back burner with the children while he was doing all the talking and all of that. So he went out one day to go deal with them, and I didn't know what was going on and stuff like that. So he came back. He says, "I'm so sorry, Shaquita, that we have to live like this. So I promise you, one day things are going to be better. I'm so sorry we got to live in a shelter. And in the room, we did get a room, and we are going to be staying here, but it's real fucked up." And I was like, word? He's like, yeah. But don't worry. He was so sad and everything. I was like, damn. Fuck, man. Damn, this shit is like, life is fucked up. So then we went walking, we dragging all our bags, and I'm like saying to him, why is it so bad? I don't understand how the shelter is going to be so, the room that we're going to be in is going to be so messed up when the hallways and everything look nice and brand new. I'm like, why the rooms and stuff going to be messed up, Unique? He was like, I don't know why they gave us a messed up room. I don't know. Maybe that's what they had left. So he's playing a role, though. He's acting now. So we get upstairs, and he put the key in the door, and he opened the door. It was like apartments inside the shelter. So he opened the door, and he was like, surprise! I'm like, wow, this is ours. He was like, well, it belongs to them, but, yeah, we're going to be staying here for a while. And I was like, oh, gosh. It was like a 2-bedroom kitchen, dinette kitchen thing. First you walk in, you see there's a bathroom, stand-up shower, and sink and toilet. And the shower, and it had you had to step over this brick thing. So I was able to give them baths inside the shower. And inside the kitchen, it was a big kitchen. It had a little table with 4 chairs, and then our bedroom was here to the right, and then the children's bedroom was to the left. It was right next door to each other. And inside the okay, no, their bedroom was to the right, our bedroom was to the left. Yeah, did I say that? Well, anyway, their bedroom had two beds, regular beds, side by side, and it had drawers and everything in there. It was really nice. And then in our bedroom, we had the crib with a full size bed. And I was like, wow, this is cool. And the only thing I realized, they used to always have fire drills. Fire drills all day long in the middle of the night. They come bang on the door. Come on, come on, come on. Then they open your door and just boom, open up. Come on, it's a fire drill. You got to get out now. They had a count of everybody who was there. And we was tired. We had to be standing outside in the rain, snow, anything it was. We had to be outside like, oh my gosh. We couldn't have no visitors. We had to sign in and out. It was like, we had to get out of there. You know, I was happy to be there, but then it was like, we got to get out of here. And one day he came home inside the shelter. He had hickeys on his neck. I'm like, you got hickeys on your neck? And I'm just seeing he got hickeys all over his neck. Like, he was just chilling, had a big old, you know, hickey party or whatever. And I'm like, this is some real crazy. This is messed up. You know, I thought, you know, come on now, when is it going to end? You know, we're on our 3rd child, and you fucking got hickeys on your neck and shit. So, I wanted to leave him. You know, I didn't want to be with him. I was like, fuck the shelter shit, fuck all of this, you know, fuck you, fuck everything, you know. I want to get out of this. I'm tired of this. You know, it ain't never going to end. If you ain't stopped by now, you ain't going to stop. So, he's like, okay, let's get married, you know. Let's get married. Because I was really serious. I was like out the door. I had my shit packed. I'm like, yo, I can't take this no more. I was tired of him. Because he knew
We're picking up from Let's Get Married.